I think from early childhood we're taught to be judging people who compare themselves, to judging people who are like trying to compete with other people, and just it's bad to be jealous, it's bad to compare yourself in general, which I think to some degree is right. But also I've been really struggling with that for the last couple of months at least, and I've been really feeling really guilty for that. Not that I felt like been struggling from like this competition in my head, but rather from feeling guilty from about that. And I've been talking to my therapist a lot, generally about this whole competition and this whole comparing yourself thing, because I think it's, and I believe it's not only my problem. I believe that people do that often, more often than we talk about it. It's because it's something which you should be guilty of and you should be feel shameful about. And we all kind of decided on one moment that we judge people who compare themselves, and it makes us be insecure and it makes us feel not good enough, because we all do that and we all do compare ourselves almost on a daily basis. And I think it's nothing necessarily bad in it to some degree. With my therapist, I figured out that probably it's just a way of us seeing the world and perceiving it, experiencing it in some way. Just realizing that, comparing is just a way to see things, to experience that. How could you know that what beauty is if you don't compare to people? How could you think of a smart person if you haven't seen anybody who's not really smart? Like, I think it's a really natural thing. It's a really common thing to do and to fall for, and it is not necessarily something evil. Also, I think that in seeing the world, often because we're social creatures, this comparison is kind of a way to check if we are part of society, if we still belong there in that particular one. If you look at other people and you're trying to see whether you belong to their circle, if you belong to this group, you have to compare yourself to them. You have to find some similarities, some differences. It does not necessarily mean that you should be like, oh, I'm better than them, or oh, I'm worse, and be sad about both because you fell into comparing. But rather, you just check if you're belonging to them, if you're one of them. It does not mean that you're evil because you compare yourself to your best friend. You're just checking if you're a normal person. You're just checking if you're sane, maybe. Again, I think it is such a big hustle around like this whole thing and this whole comparison, and that we make it evil. And when we do that, actually, everybody does that. Again, I think it's really a daily thing, almost daily at least. And when we do that, we feel really bad and we feel really shameful. And that is probably the worst thing of it. Not the fact of you comparing yourself, but the fact that you feel shameful after. And the fact that you are blaming yourself and you're thinking, oh, I'm worse than them because I compare myself to them. And they seem that they don't. But they also do that. Everybody does, because we want to stay in society, because we're human and we're social creatures. I'm sure you've heard of that. I'm sure you've heard of you and majority of people needing the society so that we could survive. And comparison, and this comparing yourself to other people, often means that you're just trying to survive, so trying to check if you're normal, trying to check if you're sane. Again, I don't necessarily think that all our words should be structured around other people and their looks and their opinions, because genius people, they don't grow to be normal, and you don't have to be normal necessarily, but just a checkup is always a good thing. Again, I'm not trying to say that you should be casual, that you should be like comparing yourself to other people and making sure that other people are not like that you look like them, that you dress like them, that you think like them. No, of course not. I think it's something magical to being yourself in society of casual people, but also I think that you still have to check up on them, still have to check if you're alright, because so many people, for example, like if you take celebrities for example, they are at some point when they believe that they're genius and that they are absolutely the best, and the point where they should be comparing themselves, to stop doing that, and they become, star sick, or however you call it, like just being too arrogant, and to just, when people think that they're the best, it's like it's even more unhealthy, and I'm sure you'd agree on that.